Friendswood ISD.
I woke up feeling on top of the world, but nothing's ever gonna bring me down. The feeling got me fighting against the world. I'm
Well, back in the gym, let's have it bring you.
It may not be my birthday, but I just wanna celebrate.
Welcome back. It's a great day to be a Mustang.
And I am honored to serve you as the superintendent of Friendswood Independent School District, starting my 6th year in Friendswood. I just want to thank the Chamber for putting this together, for this opportunity, and for really, you're part of a FEF, Friendswood Education Foundation Give Back today. As part of this, a Give Back to the Education Foundation is going to be part of that. And also I'm just pumped for today. I've been excited for this day as we put it on the calendar and started moving towards it, because I want you to leave here with just one thing. You'll forget everything I said, but I want you to leave here excited about the school district that you're a part of, and you are a part of it. You serve in a school district in our 14 square miles. You're just as much a part of it as the kids that were on these stages today. And by the way, I don't even really know if I need to speak after seeing all these kids and these kids up front. Weren't they amazing? So today is just what we want to do is take a look back. We want to look back at last year and a little bit ahead as we get a state of the district. And really just, this is wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, is it back on again?
Yes.
All right. To get a state of the district, really what has pulled the doors back and let you look behind the scenes at something that you can be proud of, that you're part of, a legacy of education here in Friendswood. So I'm going to talk today, and I'm going to use goal words. So I'm going to talk, say, goal 2. We have 7 goals that we run through, and they're part of our strategic plan. And that is the cornerstone built by a community of what our hopes and dreams for our students are. Goal 2 for us is redefining the measure of student success. And I just want to paint a picture of this for you, what it would look like. So I want you to think about a pine tree. That's where we were in a lot of ways, a pine tree. Success was just a vertical, straight up line, with the success being at the peak of that pine tree. But with this goal, what we've tried to do is, now picture the biggest live oak tree in front of the Friends Church you can picture. How it comes up and it spreads out. Arms going all different routes. Success is going this way, going up, going around, with different sizes, different places. That's what goal 2 is for us. It's redefining success to be more than just one thing. To be many, many things, many, many paths. And that's what you're going to see today as we talk. And I'm going to start out with just an elementary example and a secondary example. So, as we redefine success and we work through this goal 2, something that we moved to was this idea of grades. So let me ask you this: we're old enough in here that we've all been through this system. Okay, I graduated from Friendswood High School, so ran through this. What grades we got? What's an 87? 87. But what does it mean? What is it? You just get it. You get an 87. And for especially our K through 5 students, what does that tell you? As a 3rd grader, when you get an 87 on reading, what does that tell you about what your student knows, where they're growing, where they're not growing, the areas that they need to focus on, where we can help them as we redefine success for different kids. And they're all on the same scale. So we brought together, this is a picture of a group. We have parents here. Rebecca's in the background, one of our board members. Barry's there, principal, some of our teachers. We came together and looked at Tom Schwimmer's book about assessment and what that means. And from that work, we came out with the idea of moving from traditional grades to this standard-based system. As we move up, K and 1 had it in place, but we recalibrated that and have moved it up into grade 3 this year, and have had over 1,000 students in grades K through 2 set goals and design their own instruction. So what this allows us to do, as you think about redefining success, is to share with students becoming part of their own learning, setting goals. They are part of being able to communicate to parents, communicate to you what standards we've created, essential standards, what standards they're at, so that we're not just all the A's are the A's, all the B's are the B's. Where am I? Where are you? Where are these students? So we work together to do that. And you, if we walked today in Klein, and we walked into Ms. Bocan's classroom, what you would see would be her working with individual students. See if I can get my little laser thing working. They're working through their standards right here on reading. So instead of like what I did, the teacher got up in front of the room and read the book, that we all had the same exact book, and we answered the same questions and took the test at the end. This student, when we talk about redefining success, it means something different for her than it means for him, than it means for her, than it means for him. So working at that level, we can lift those kids up from where they are, like that oak tree, into their own individual needs. Now, I can explain it all, but I probably better to just let Dottie, one of our second graders, explain it to you.
My name is Dottie, I'm in second grade.
What is visualizing?
I don't know, that's why I want to work on it.
Oh, okay. So last week you had background and you gave yourself a 2. Will you tell us what that means?
That means comes in at do for it.
Oh, okay. And what does a 2 mean?
And 2 means you need a little help on it.
Okay, you need a little help on it. And I see here key ideas. You gave yourself a 3. What does 3 mean?
It means you're really good and you don't need any help.
Okay, good. Okay. Well, thank you.
Isn't that laugh at the end just the best part of the whole thing? So Dottie explained it a whole lot better than I did, the things that she was working on, and the first thing she was talking about was visualizing. Dana asked her, well, why are you working on it? She said, because I don't know what it is. That's an area where she needs to work, and Dottie knows that. It isn't something that's being told to her, it's something that she's working on. Let's move to the second area. So let's move up to the high school. As part of Goal 2 for us, redefining student success, work drove out from that team, and the first work that they wanted to be part of was elimination of class rank. So high schools all around you, all in Texas, rank students. You have to, by law, rank the top 10%. But after the top 10%, our students are no longer a number or a quartile. They are a person. So Thad Rohr, as a student, has grades, courses that I've taken, extracurriculars that I've been a part of, my application packet. And so without ranking, colleges take a look at who I am versus comparing me to Texas City, a number, Dickinson, a number, Santa Fe, a number, others surrounding across the state. And from that, we have seen tremendous results in our first work in that. Let me just share. I'm going to just we have results from different colleges, but my daughter went to Texas A&M. I know we have some Aggies in here, so I'm going to give a little Texas A&M data. So first quartile of Friendswood students, okay, applied to A&M. That kind of old system, but where the impact really comes, I want you to share the second quartile. So students in the second quartile that applied to Texas A&M before the system, and then after the system, rose from those who were accepted from 60% to 80%. The third and fourth quartile, students in Friendswood ISD, in the third and fourth quartile, which I would honestly put our kids in the third and fourth quartile up. I'd put any Friendswood kid up against any other kid, frankly. But third and fourth quartile rose from 4% to 50%. So that was our first step in the work. Our second step that we've just put into place is, now let's look at those upper level kids. We want them to pursue their passions. We want them to pursue their passions. And to do that, they're really hamstrung by the system because you have to take my brother's class, AP World History. I mean, who wants to take that? right? Who wants to learn about the Khan Dynasty, honestly? Ashley, you probably would, right? But I mean, would you rather take AP World History or do one of those things you saw along that table, right? So we have our team, Kim Coles, our Assistant Superintendent of Secondary, led teams. Mark Griffon with his team, led a team from this data from our students. So does class rank impact your course selection? No question. Have you ever selected a course based solely on the weight of the course? AP US History or World History, 81%. If we used only core classes and ranked, would that impact your elective course selection? 71% said yes, it would. So we've moved. Our board took a bold step. Our teams have taken a bold step that all we rank are core courses and foreign language. So the 4 cores and foreign language. So if you want to take culinary and try that, that's not going to hurt your class ranking. Even if you're one of those top kids going to go to Stanford, we still want you to pursue your passions. And so that's what Goal 2 for us is all about. Goal 6 for us is authentic learning experiences. And you can see kind of in the background of this picture is exactly what that is. We want to focus on profound learning. And if I asked you, what's a class you remember, a teacher you remember, it would be something that you did hands-on. You actually got to do the learning. It would be real-life learning. It would be you'd have your own voice. You would have opportunity to choose your learning. It would follow your interests. So I want to just walk you through just a couple authentic learning experiences, like stepping into a school and seeing what's going on. So first, student voice of choice. Do you remember when you were in school and you had to read, like, Macbeth? Or you had to read Jackson, do you remember that? Jackson's a Friendswood graduate. We're so glad to have him in Raise Your Hand, Texas. All right? I'm sure Jackson didn't want to read Macbeth, but his mom made him. I remember this. But what if he had choice? Very simple decision to make. But if you put choice for what students read, honestly, especially the boys, then reading starts to become magical, and it becomes something that you want to do, something you want to pursue. And students reading at their own level, with their own choice, makes an impact on authentic learning. You remember too, libraries, same as me, libraries used to be the place where there were a lot of books, and a lady with a sweater who was cold all the time told you to be quiet, right? That's what libraries were. They are totally different. If we walked into the hallway of Winsome right now, the noisiest place would be the media center. There would be drones flying around. There could be robots on the floor. The green screen could be going. It is a place for thinking. It's a place for creativity. It's what our media integration specialists focus on, is students getting that opportunity. Now, you can still see books in the background back here on shelves. So we have them, all right? But the media centers are a way for us to foster authentic learning. You may go by and see astronauts, real astronauts, taking advantage of what we have out teaching our kids to launch rockets on a steam bed. Science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. You'll see Friendswood High School art students with big things in the hallways swinging, making these big murals on the ground. Isn't that a day that you would want to go to school? And so to have those experiences at all our elementaries and junior highs makes an impact for kids. Would you rather learn about a circuit off of a worksheet, or do what this young man's doing, is put one together and play with some electricity? Coding. Coding's super important. Coding in Friendswood, K, you go down to Klein, was 4 with those little bitty guys, all the way up through, I saw Coach Mo was in here. Is he still in here? He might have stepped out. Through competitive coding. Competitive, not only coding, but competitive robotics. This young man's in junior high in the robotics program, but it's a big part of a way for us to problem solve and go through authentic learning. Project-based research course. So we have a number of courses, engineering, design, and development, of students who put together their own projects. This young man built a mini bike as part of his research kit. What can be put together? Who can you steal some parts from, get an engine from, and put this together? So this engineering, design, and development, we just have made some contacts with Lockheed to expand this. But kids building things to go out into real life experiences. Our Quest students, our special needs students, if you ever go to anything in Friendswood, watch for the flyer that says the Quest Art Show. So our special needs students, with their own creativity, create these amazing works of art that we then pay a lot of money for and fund what they need for their classrooms. But that's their talent, right? That's the oak tree. That's redefining success versus just the pine tree that says success is just in one direction. Now, you all learn physics, probably in a classroom experience, but wouldn't you want to learn about buoyancy, design by building a cardboard boat, and trying to make your way across the Friendswood High School natatorium as part of your project to learn about the aspects of physics? Now, we have some disasters. We have lifeguards on duty, don't worry about that. But it's such a great experience for these kids. Collaboration, communication, design, build, problem solve. These students are at NASA. I don't remember what floor this is. Probably someone in here could tell me. But our art students, using their experience to paint a mural at NASA, stepping out into the real life. Here is our group of our engineering students. They are out at one of our pours for our bond program. So our bond program is going in the background, and they are taking core samples for their classes that day, looking for those opportunities. This is the transition center. Maybe you don't know this, but at the old junior high, we call it, there's a round building. Very unique design. And in that building are our students who are 18 to 21 who are still working on work-based skills. And this is an example of those students. There's James. James works at Main Squeeze. If you ever go in there and get to see James, he can make a mean smoothie. But that's an opportunity for them and the oak tree on their own level of what success means. We also have programs, amazing programs that foster this. Audio-visual production in our Mustang channel system. Our students make many products. If you come to the game on Friday night, the hype video at the beginning is from one of our students. Graphic design, you saw them here tonight, what they've been building. Culinary is a very large program. We're excited. Part of our bond is going to be a brand new culinary space with a place for you to come in and be served within Friendswood High School. This young lady, she's probably working on a competition each year they have. It's Cake Wars, the Cake Wars competition. And they bake cakes. We come in and have judges work on those, but they also cater. Melissa was over here. Contact her if you want catering. It's a real-world experience for them. Health science, in a classroom in Friendswood High School, we have an ambulance. A full ambulance, a full working ambulance for our EMT techs to work in an ambulance on mannequins and work through different aspects of what they would do to get an EMT certification. So this young lady can walk out of Friendswood High School with an EMT certification ready to get on a ride. Incubator EDU, you heard over here from Jim just a minute ago. It is an entrepreneurship program, and you want to be part of it. And he's your guide. Jim, wave at him again. Right there's your man. So before you leave, you can be a mentor, you can be a shark. These kids come up with ideas. After they get their idea, they work with a mentor to create the design. Then they sit in front of a shark, and the shark determines whether they're going to fund that idea to make a prototype. Then after that, they come back, and are they going to fund it to make their own business? This young man right here, I remember him. He was a skater. And I'm not a skater. You probably skate, don't you? No. And he figured out that when you skate, apparently some of the moves you make, it wears off the inside of your shoes. Skating shoes are expensive. So he came up with this idea, what if I had a patch that you put on there and you removed it? After you wore it out, you put another one on. Came up with the idea, made a prototype, went in front of the sharks, got funded. Just one guy's story, but exciting things that can happen in this incubator class. And then you saw our rocketry students. This was our first year for rocketry. So to kick it off, we sent a 1-pound payload 1 mile up in the sky off of Smith Point, Texas, as part of this rocketry program. In 3 years, we hope to be at White Sands, New Mexico, sending an interballistic rocket up into the sky. Hoping to go on vacation during that time frame to go out to White Sands. Ready, set, teach. All these young ladies and young men are holding letters. They have worked in our schools with students. They have learned about instruction. And in their hands, they have a letter signed by Mr. Griffon and myself. It is their, like, when you sign with LSU to play football, this is their same thing. If you go through that program, you graduate, we will guarantee you an interview at Friendswood ISD. We have 3 of those students teaching in our schools today, and we have a paraprofessional that's a part of that. And if you ever drive by the high school and you see a playground outside, that is not for the high school students. All right? That is for our Little Mustang preschool, which on October 5th will have another first day of school for 15 preschoolers to come, and they will be the projects of our Ready, Set, Teach teachers. They are going to be the teachers, they're going to be the facilitators for these kids throughout the whole year. It's an awesome program. The foundation was critical in putting seed money into this and getting this started. We have a fence coming around here soon. We're going to see those little guys crawling on that. That's going to be a fun thing for all of us. Lots of opportunities. College in the mainland. I often talk to people, what happened to welding? What happened to, well, here we go. Welding, cosmetology, automotive technology, an amazing maritime science facility over at San Jack, process technology. So we want you to follow your passion. Everything I showed you just now is not taken on the STAR test. STAR test does not test anything that we just follow. But what's important for students is to touch that passion and go that path. The STAR test takes care of itself. Community partnerships, super important for us. These are our faith leaders. We meet with them on a regular basis. We have them into our buildings. We have them there to support. Friendswood ISD, it's been a rough couple of weeks for Friendswood ISD. We had a beloved teacher pass away from a horrible accident, and these people came in key and critical during that time frame. The city and the school have a great partnership in Friendswood. Chief Wieners and I, it's like a husband-wife, it's a love-hate relationship. Chief Wieners. We call and shout at each other, and then we put our arms around each other. We've been together a long time. But I'm telling you what, I have walked through a lot of things with the city, with him, Josh Rogers. I have no question about their response to an issue that we have. None. I've watched them train. I've watched them go through situations. I know what to expect, and I have no questions about what that's going to look like. As we work through the bond, the city's been amazing. The city council does a great job of lifting our schools. We have a great relationship with our city. We get our senior citizens in. We just had them in this last week. They're a key part of who we are, and have them in and get an opportunity to share the great things going on at Friendswood ISD. Brittany Austin, she's right over here. Yes, an amazing community education leader for Friendswood ISD. Look at these numbers that have grown over the last several years. It's one of a kind. It's one of a kind community education program here in Friendswood that other people don't have. That revenue goes right back in to be able to facilitate and serve that. Day of service, that's goal 4 for us, is, or goal 1 for us is about our opportunity to provide service for our community. This last year it was April 18th. This year will be April 10th. It's when we as teachers, administrators, everybody, we go out and serve our community with our students. It's a great day for us. Just want to hit safety and security just real quickly. I know that's on people's minds. Safety and security is, we talked about it at our board meeting last night. It's about relationships. That is the layer that keeps people the safest. That keeps our students, keeps our faculty the safest. Because we're all in this together. The whole security thing is not just a school. It's not just an FPD. It's all of us together communicating. We believe in safety through layers. You can't just say one layer is going to stop something harmful from happening. They have to all be in place. If this layer fails, we move here. If this layer fails, we move here. And the layers that are most important are the preventative layers. One of the newest layers that we've put in place is a Strategic's visual alert system. It's one of a kind. We went to Florida to research it. We've installed it here in Friendswood ISD. It's basically a visual alert, so every room, every hallway outside has a visual alert for all of our students of any needs to be able to, when lockdown is called, to be able to flash, whenever a hold is called, to be able to flash. It will automatically come up on the announcements. If we were in Friendswood High School right now, and I took out my card, my Strategics card, with the button on it right here, and I just kept pressing it. Something bad was happening, and I just kept pressing it. On the announcements, it would say, lockdown, lockdown. The lights would go off. A GPS signal goes out to FPD, goes to dispatch, goes to all of our SROs, and they are coming to that location that's shown on the map. Computers are also taken over to be able to show lockdown, and that's one of our ways to move quickly into a situation. It is a preventative measure, but it's something that we put in just recently. These are some of the others, just information for you to look at. I'll just highlight a couple. We have trained security monitors on each campus, 2 at the high school, 2 at the junior high, and 1 at each other campus that check exterior doors every hour. Every hour they take the perimeter and check those exterior doors to make sure they're locked. We have district crisis counselors at the junior high and high school. That's a preventative layer for us that's really important. Safety vestibules at each area, and our school resource officers are a tremendous asset for us. Social emotional learning is a relatively new term, but it has been part of Friendswood since 1895. 1895, this community was founded on faith, family, and education. And since that time, social emotional learning has been a big part of that. In Friendswood ISD, character education goes back to a board-approved document at 1983. This is when you ask what is social emotional learning in Friendswood, board policy AE, these are the lists of character traits and bullet points to describe each one that it is. And each school, each area addresses those in different ways. Social emotional learning has gotten a bad rap. A lot of things have gotten a bad rap these days, depending on what radio station or TV station you listen to or what social media. So I'm here to say what social emotional learning is and what it's not. These are the things it is. These are things we know it to be. You've experienced it. You've been in Friendswood as business people. You have become part of this. What it's not a political agenda. It's not taking the place of academics. It doesn't isolate parents and families from students. It's not therapy. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's been here since 1895, affirmed again in 1983, and part of who we are each day. So I want to give you just school finance in 5 minutes or less. Okay, I just have just another minute. I'm a little intimidated because we have the head of appropriations in the House of Representatives sitting right in front of me right here. So Macaulay, if he makes a move towards me, get him, okay, before he gets up here. So I want you to know this as business people, okay, and as taxpayers in Friendswood. When you look at your statement, you have 2 tax buckets that are listed out. Now you think about the overall tax rate. But one bucket's maintenance and operations. That's our day-to-day expenditures. That's how we run the district. This is our debt service bucket. This year, we dropped taxes overall 3 cents. So your tax rate went down 3 cents. These are the rates for each one of those 2 funds. You see all the bond work is going up right now all over the place. That is this. That's our mortgage. Okay? We have to pay our mortgage every year, just like we do at our house. And our mortgage, the rate that the board passes each year can't be more than what we need to pay that mortgage. So, if rates go up, property taxes go up, and it's like instead of taxing 1 house, you're taxing 10 houses, then the amount that you need from each house is less, right? If you were just taxing 1. So as property values go up, then that helps defer that across a wider span. This is set. The only way that this changes is through a vote. You as citizens have to vote to raise this rate for our day-to-day expenditures. Now, what do we get? Okay, this is where we get our money. This pie, this is what you need to know about school finance. This pie never changes. The only way that this pie changes how much money comes in is if we change the number of students, we increase the number of students, or if we approve a higher tax rate. So, right now, local sources, tax revenue, property taxes, 71.1% of our income comes from property taxes. 28% come from the state sources. So the way the school finance system is now, we're just getting ready to go into session, we could build a Walmart on every corner of Friendswood. Okay? If we don't grow students, or the tax rate doesn't change, this pie is not going to change the total amount that comes in for us to be able to operate from. Now it helps our mortgage side because it gives more value. It helps you and me as a taxpayer go down. But that's not going to change. What do we spend our money on? We spend 84.2% of our money that comes in on people. Education is a person-rich environment to do all the amazing things you saw with these students. 6.9%, so another 7% is contracted services. And two really big things, and you know what they are. It's the same thing that you do in your house. Electricity bill and your insurance. So those are a large part of that. So what do you have discretionary left to spend? It's this. So when you cut, we're in a deficit budget right now. Okay? The way that the funding has worked out, we're in a deficit budget. So what we have to cut, when we cut, is people or programs, and we can lessen these, but it doesn't have that much impact. So what's our tax rate? As you look over the last 5 years, from 2018 to 2022, it's gone down. $1.36.7 right here, 2018 overall, and it's just continuing to come down. Now, the legislature has helped, House Bill 3 help pay down values by making that state part of the pie a little bit bigger and pushing back so that there weren't as many property taxes that were needed. But tax rates have gone down over the last 5 years. And how would we compare to people around us? So if you were at the state of the district for other school districts in the area, here's Friendswood, and here's the other districts around us. From Galveston at $1.03 over to Alvin at $1.37. Okay? So I hear all the time, taxes are high in Friendswood. The tax rate isn't high. What's high? Property values. The school district doesn't set property values. But we do have some impact on them. And you're welcome. The city has impact on them. Safest city in Texas. So when you pay for a house, that property value is high and grows. That's part of being part of a community. Now I'm as adverse to taxes as anybody. Okay? But here's the one thing about school taxes. They don't leave this 14 square miles, except for $300,000 that we have to give back to the state as part of the payback because we're property rich. But everything else stays right here in this 14 square miles. Now, when I pay my federal taxes, I have no idea where it's going. My son's in the U.S. Coast Guard. I just pretend I'm helping to pay his salary when I write that out. But that's one of the things about taxes, and to think about is that it stays here. And it doesn't just happen. Taxes are part of funding the great city that we have, the great school district that we have. Here's our expenditures per student. So how much do we spend per student? If we take that pie that doesn't change, divide it out by the number of students that we have, we spend $9,125, that's federal funds included, for each student that we have. That's what we spend on our students. So up here we got Texas City, $11,571 per student. So getting a great bang for the buck in Friendswood ISD. So let's just go real quick through bond. You see a lot of people out working. We're in the midst of a rezoning process. Friendswood has been different zone, but we're getting ready to move to a K5 on the south side with Winsome and with Klein. This is a rendering of the front of Klein Elementary, which is at the back of West Ranch. We've got a lot of steels getting ready to pop up over there. Construction beginning in a beautiful new area. Driveway coming in. Klein is on time still to begin to open next fall. So next fall we will open up with K through 5 students in there at Klein. This is our FHS Performing Arts Center at the high school. This would be if you're Friendswood, like where you come in to drop kids off for school. It's right there in front of where that used to be, that beautiful building. And then right behind it is a new gymnasium. And you can see, when you drive by the high school, you can see steel going up. That's the gym. Huge, huge, huge facility. It's going to be amazing. There's our big crane putting this steel up. That's the new gymnasium. This parking lot's coming in right here. We just went out for bid for Windsong. Windsong, we're going to add 6 additional classrooms, 5th grade, on the very back side of Windsong, which will allow it then to hold how many students are zoned for Windsong Intermediate. Westwood, we're going to be doing some renovations inside to gain more classroom space. Bales, the same way. All of those spaces will be opening next fall, and then we will move inside to the high school, to the engineering space, new choir, new band, and also new culinary spaces. A key member of our team is the FISD Education Foundation. There's several of the directors that are in here participating in this today. Ashley has a table, our executive director in the back. Would love for you to join up and be part of the foundation through several ways. Adopt a Grant is one way for you to pick a grant to fund Goal 6 learning for us, so that hands-on learning. Sporting Clays is coming up. There's still openings for teams. There's information back there about it. The Gala is a large event that we have in February to raise funds and give backs. Just watch for these give back. We just finished one at Gina's. You're actually a part of one today, and they'll continue to move forward. And lastly, I just want to talk briefly about mindset. This is what we talk about. Must-name mindset. A mindset is something you choose. It's not mandated. No one tells you what your mindset is or what corporately our mindset is as Friendswood and Friendswood ISD. We choose that, and that's what makes us different from other communities. It's a challenge, and this is the challenge to you. There's communities that are falling apart. There are communities that are falling apart, schools that are falling apart, cities that are falling apart, because their mindset isn't one, isn't moving forward, isn't progressive, isn't something that is for the good of all, but ours is. And that's what makes Friendswood a special place to be. And that's what makes you part of our team and a special group to be with. I'm so grateful for all of you and for your support for Friendswood ISD. We're all in this together. Thanks so much for listening to our state.